my ring to show you what I got. Where I walk, where I talk. See me flying down my route, pass me the ball. I ain't dropping none, I don't fumble at all. We gon' win a chicken dinner every time we ball. Throwing it like a burner, I dunk it like LeBron. Hey. Monday Night Fredo, Infanity TV. Monday
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, welcome live to Monday Night Fredo here live from the Infanity Studios in Los Angeles. And man, oh man, what a day it has been in Major League Baseball. Today, the home run derby just ended right now minutes ago with Vladimir Guerrero Jr. coming up on top as the home run champion as he now joins his father, the great Vladimir Guerrero, when he was a member of the Anaheim Angels in the early 2000s, also winning the home run derby. So now you got father like son winning the derby as well. Tomorrow night, we have a big game up in Seattle. We got the Major League Baseball All-Star Game. You're going to have all of the biggest stars in Major League Baseball taking the field tomorrow evening, 5 o'clock Pacific time here in Los Angeles on Fox. So you guys can all catch that. I'm going to go ahead and touch a little bit on baseball. But I do want to talk a little bit about Damian Lillard as well, because Dame time is about over up in Portland. But the Portland Trailblazers are actually doing the right thing. They are saying there is no reason why they are going to trade Damian anytime soon. They are going to wait until they receive the offer that they want, not where Dame wants to go, because Dame wants to go to Miami. Portland is not going to get what they want from Miami, so they're looking elsewhere. I'm going to be talking about that, and as well, the Los Angeles Sparks, guys. They dropped 5 games in a row after last night's kind of meltdown. It seemed like it was up in Phoenix against Brittany Griner as she actually dunked for the first time this season. She is the first female WNBA player this season to dunk, and it was a pretty impressive dunk. You got to give her some credit right there as well. So let's go ahead and touch on the LA Sparks right now, because I'm hot on this team right now, especially what I just saw on Twitter right now just a few minutes ago. I'm here sitting down in the studio waiting to go live for you guys right now. Then I turn up Twitter. I'm looking around and I see head coach Curt Miller went and took it to Twitter just a few minutes ago. And I'm actually going to pull up the tweet right now because I do want to respond to this right now. And, you know, we know that the Sparks are right now dealing with one of the most injury-prone seasons they've maybe ever they've dealt with. And for it to be this bad right now, with the Sparks being 7-12 in their first 19 games of the season, it's pretty depressing to see the way they're going about this season. But this is a direct tweet that head coach Curt Miller just took it to Twitter right now a few minutes ago and said, and I quote, "While many of my teams have endured injuries, I have never experienced anything like this. Year 19, with 19 games into the season, we have now had players miss 57 games with injuries and illnesses. If you include 2 season-ending players as well, we have 95 games missed by these players." I mean, a combined of 95 missed games, and we're only through 19 games. So you can clearly make the math and do the math and see that the LA Sparks right now are not at their very best right now, especially heading into Wednesday's games matchup against the Las Vegas Aces. You know, arguably the Aces are the best team and the team to be beaten in the WNBA right now, and especially after Kelsey Plum. Oh my Lord. Last night she went off for a 40-point game up in Dallas. So, you know, very impressive by Kelsey Plum to go ahead and do what she do on the court. But seeing what Coach just said and took it to Twitter, you know, he hardly takes it to Twitter. And, you know, of course, for the people that follow me on Twitter, you know that I take it to Twitter all the time. But right now, I'm live here on Monday Night Fredos. I'm going to let you know, and Coach, you know, it is not your fault. This season, it's not your fault. I understand you're dealing with so many injuries and illnesses and very rare situations that so many head coaches sometimes don't deal with. But at the end of the day, you have about 8 players that are getting dressed, maybe the lowest and throughout the whole league there, because every other team always has about 11, 12, 13 players. But you're only dealing with 7 and 8 players at times, and it's very difficult when you do that. But guess what, LA Sparks fans? I know I was looking at the tweet, and a lot of people are responding back to Coach and kind of trying to let him know, like, hey, well, look, it is kind of your fault. It's not your fault. People are choosing sides. And that's what it is all about. Arguments, you got to choose one side or the other. But you got the middleman like me, myself here, that's going to make you understand the situation. Because you got to realize that with one key player, this goes to one player. We understand how important Nneka Ogwumike is to the LA Sparks. She's been here for 13 years. She is grinding right now. She is fighting every single game out here, averaging 19 points, 11 rebounds here through 30 minutes per game. She is out there for her team and being the great leader that she is and the all-star that she is. But the moment Lexi Brown went out for the past 9 games now, it has been one of the worst runs that this team has gone through right now. They have only won 2 games in the last 3.5 weeks. It is not a good sign for the LA Sparks being 2-7 in their last 9 games, and especially because they had crumbled from the top of the league, being at the number 3 spot, number 4 spot in the beginning of the season, then dropping their way down all the way to the number 9 spot, which they currently stand right now. Lexi Brown is scheduled to make her return back to the court, hopefully right after the All-Star break. Of course, we do have WNBA All-Star Weekend this weekend in Las Vegas. We do have the 3-point shootout taking place on Friday night. Then Saturday night, you got the big game. You got Team Asia against Team Stewart. So it's going to be a very interesting game. That game will be broadcast live on national TV, ABC 7. You can catch that at 5 p.m. Saturday evening. With that being said, what are the Sparks really going to do? I mean, they got a lot of questions and concerns to kind of look at. And one of the main things that I talked to Coach last night after the game, I asked him, hey, Coach, look, you do have these guards that are not playing so well right now. He got 3 young guards. You got a Destiny Henderson, you got Zia Cook, and you got Ray Burrell. These 3 individual players were the only 3 guards on the roster last night. Even though Jordan Canada just came back from a shoulder injury, she is still not 100%. She did say a few days ago she's about 90%, which is technically 100, but she's not really all there yet. But when you look at the young girls in Zia Cook and Ray Burrell and Destiny Henderson, 2 of those, Destiny and Ray, are both on 10-day hardship contracts. Zia, being the number 1 overall pick this season, has very much been so off through her shooting. She even talks about this, and this is one thing that I talked on LA Sparks Weekly postgame show, which everyone should follow the LA Sparks Weekly on Instagram, because we bring you all of the latest content on the LA Sparks games and analysis. We got you covered. But one thing that I did talk about last night was on Zia Cook's development. She is coming up into this league with no break at all. I mean, she went from being in the tournament at March Madness to getting drafted the following week. Then in 2 days from then, she goes on to training camp with the Sparks and just has not gotten a break yet. And that break is coming up right now this week. They're going to get a few days off, about a week or so. So she's going to really be able to kind of get in her zone. That's one of the interesting things for her right now. She really got to get in her zone. I know I asked Coach about it as well. Like, what are you going to do to prepare Zia to go into the second part of the season and finish out strong? Because this first half of the season has not been the best for her right now. Has not been the best. Shooting 1 for 10 multiple times, going 2 for 9, 3 for 10. Those are not good shooting numbers, but it shows you confidence. At the end of the day, you want to see a confident player out there taking the shots when given and when open. And that's a good leadership by Nneka Ogwumike to be out there as well, getting to by her side, talking to her every single day. And as head coach notes it all the time, he's like, look, I'm talking to Zia, making sure she's ready to go every single game on both sides of the ball, even though he says Zia has no problem. She has no problem on the offensive end. Her problem is more on the defensive end. And once she kind of clicks on with that part, she will be dominant out there on the court, especially this being her first year in the league. But This is also my first year here with Infanity TV, but I'm going to let you guys know a lot of things coming up here on the Infanity TV network. Of course, you can always catch me on the breaks. Catch me on the breaks tomorrow. I'll be talking about the All-Star game. But I'm going to go into a quick commercial break right now. When we return here on Monday Night Fredo, and we'll talk about Dame Lillard, Dame time. Like, he wants to go to Miami. Portland doesn't want to send him to Miami. Where are they going to send Damian Lillard? I got one destination for you. Maybe two, maybe three. Who knows? Stay tuned. We'll return here on Monday Night Fredo.
Profanity Nation. A podcast for the fans, by the fans. Dive deep into the topics the other shows miss. Raw and uncensored.
And he's going to play team ball. His legacy is at stake.
Rare, hard-hitting interviews with players, coaches, and you, the super fans.
I'm not hating. I'm like, okay, cool. Good.
3 championships in 5 years. He's more than good, bro.
Profanity Nation. Listen live or subscribe on your favorite podcast platform. Powered by
United One Protection Services. With over 30 years of experience, United One Protection Services has more expertise and knowledge than the other security companies combined. Residential, commercial, municipal, or institutional, United One Protection Services does more than just security. We protect your livelihood. United One Protection Services.
And we're back here on Monday Night Fredo. Myself, Fredo Cervantes. And of course, make sure you subscribe here on Infanity TV right now, because there's a lot of great shows going up here every single day out of the week. Of course, you can catch me on the breaks every single Tuesday afternoon at 12 o'clock. So tomorrow I'm going to be bringing you guys some more action, because it is going to be MLB All-Star Game Day. I mean, the MLB All-Star Game is one of the biggest events throughout the sports world. So it's going to be definitely one to watch for and to tune into, because great pitching, great hitters, and just the excitement of baseball is going to be exciting tomorrow. But that's going to be taking place tomorrow on the breaks. You can also catch Michael Matthew, DJ as well, and Beef. We got you guys covered. So make sure you watch the breaks every single day out of the week at 12 o'clock. And don't forget about the Profanity Nation. They're all on every single Sunday, 8:30 Pacific as well here on Infanity TV. So make sure everyone subscribe right now. But let's talk a little bit about Damian Lillard, man. I mean, he is arguably, he's one of the best clutch shooters that we've seen in the last decade or so. You know, I don't know if there's not a moment that you can find. Like, it's hard to find a great moment of Damian Lillard, because there's just so many of them, and you don't know which one might be your favorite one. But I think the one I remember and recall the most is when he hit that three-pointer in front of Paul George, against OKC, and they send him home. And that was one of the best shots that I remember watching of Dame time, because he called game. He called it and said it, adios. But Damian right now, he said adios to Portland, but Portland say, wait, hold the horses, Damian Lillard. Where do you want to go? You want to go to Miami? I don't think that's going to work, son. That's what they told him. Miami wants Damian. Damian wants Miami. Portland does not want to send him over to Miami. Portland just said earlier today that they do and will wait until the best offer is available for them. And I totally agree with them. I agree with the Portland Trailblazers. I agree with what they're trying to do. Wait for the best offer. I mean, this guy right now, he's in your hands. He is arguably the best player in Blazers franchise history. Why would you give him up for Tyler Hero? Like, what brings the attention that Tyler Hero might be a great trade piece for Damian Lillard? Like, Tyler Hero is not even an all-star. He has not even played in the league for the last few months ever since he broke his hand. You know, Tyler Hero is not a guy that you want to be happy to come back to Portland and be like, okay, well, here, I'll take Tyler, you take Dame. Like, no, that's like the dumbest trade ever. It's like me trading you my car for a bag of chips. It's like, I'm not going to give you my car and you give me a bag of chips. That's the type of deal that Miami's trying to do right now. I mean, you got to give them credit. You got Pat Riley over there, one of the greatest GMs and guys around the league. He's very smart. He knows what he's doing. So, of course, he's trying to lowball the Portland Trailblazers because he knows that Damian wants out. But one thing that Damian was not smart enough to do is get a no-trade clause in his contract. So now he can go anywhere. If Portland wants to send him to Detroit, whoopee, he'll be in Detroit tomorrow. If they want to send him to New York, he'll be in New York tomorrow. If he wants to be a Clipper, he'll be a Clipper. But there is one team that I did get a chance to see earlier today. I just mentioned the team. The LA Clippers. Apparently, they are interested in possibly making a deal for Dame Lillard, which by all calls, you're going to have to lose some of your young guys like a Terrence Mann. You're going to have to lose a possible Paul George or Kawhi Leonard. I do not see a trade with the Clippers, not including Paul George or Kawhi Leonard. So, as an outsider from the Clipper world, I would love to see maybe Damian Lillard part of the Clippers without having a possible PG or Kawhi Leonard. I mean, if I was Portland, I would ask for Paul George. I would ask for Terrence Mann. I would ask for maybe give me Zubats while you're at it. I mean, he's been the most consistent Clipper in the last 5 years for them. So give me those guys, which is a much better deal than Tyler Hero. The bag of chips. Maybe he seems like a Dorito nacho cheese type of guy. But that is a much better deal for Portland to do with the LA Clippers, even though they're going to be facing him for the rest of the years to come because they're going to be in the same conference. But it's going to be very interesting to see how that turns out to be because it's always fascinating when you see a team that owns and controls its player and can send him wherever they want, especially when there's a little bit of, drama in between. So that's going to be interesting to see what happens in the upcoming weeks or so. But another key thing, which we all got a chance to see, Summer League was underway this past week. We got a chance to see a lot of the young guys, and I told you so. I'm going to sound like LeVar Ball. I told you so. That Brandon Miller is going to be a dude to watch out for the Charlotte Hornets, the second overall pick in the 2023 NBA draft. This man right there, he is going to be better than Victor Wembanyama. I can see it right now. He's going to be more efficient. He's going to be a better leader, and he's going to be so dangerous with the ball. When you look at Victor, yeah, he's dangerous. He's 7'5 feet, and he can literally just shoot the ball over your head without you being in any sort of way of shooting the ball. But Victor is nothing like Brandon Miller. Brandon Miller at least brings you some efficiency from both sides of the ball. He can defend, definitely rebound the ball. He can play some tremendous defense on the 6'7 guards and 6'7 forwards, which that position right there is very, very crucial in the league right now. You look at that position, that is one of the most important positions on the court at times because you're going to be facing guys like LeBron James. You got guys that you're going to have to stay in front of like Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown. You got Kevin Durant, Devin Booker. You got so many players out there that played that same position that we got to go ahead and possibly see a guy like Brandon Miller who can really compete with these guys. But Victor Wembanyama, he looked okay in his debut. The second game, he looked a lot much better, scoring 20-some points, 10 rebounds, 5 blocks a game. Tremendous play by Victor. But earlier today, the San Antonio Spurs did announce that they will shut down Victor Wembanyama for the remaining part of the Summer League. What does that say? That they saw enough. They saw it all. They were like, okay, it's time to shut this man down. We know what he's capable of doing. We know what he can and cannot do. Now we know what we can work towards this offseason with Victor to see how he can improve for the beginning of the 2023 NBA season. But when we also look at the development of Golden State, because this is something I do want to talk about before we go into a quick commercial break. The transformation of Chris Paul coming over to Golden State. Like, does Golden State really have a chance to compete at a high level against the Phoenix Suns, against the Lakers, against the Nuggets? I don't think so. This is the first year since like 2014 that I'm not as confident on the Golden State Warriors. Why? Because now you're getting a little slower. You got a guy who you traded Jordan Poole, even though Jordan Poole was Jordan Poole, but Jordan Poole was able to come off and give you a certain amount of points, when he was able to come in and come behind Klay Thompson and Steph Curry. But now you're possibly going to get the opportunity to see CP3 coming off the bench for the first time in his long career. Is CP3 going to be comfortable coming off the bench? I mean, Steve Kerr's your coach. You're going to have to listen to Steve Kerr. And if he wants you to come off the bench, you're going to come off the bench. And if you're going to make that situation difficult, they might just ship you out. I mean, you saw what happened with Russell Westbrook when they were trying to get Russell to like, hey, you got to come off the bench. Nope, not coming off the bench. I'm a starter. And it took him a year and a half to finally look at that. Okay, so can Golden State be a trouble team to certain other teams around the conference? I don't think so. I still see Denver above them. I see Phoenix above them. I may see the Lakers and the Clippers both above the Warriors, and maybe Dallas. Dallas is going to be that sneaking part in the Western Conference. But, of course, we know that right now the MLB Home Run Derby just finished off right now. We'll give you guys the rest of the highlights on what's going to happen today and tomorrow with the All-Star Game when we return here on Monday Night Fredo.
Profanity Nation. A podcast for the fans, by the fans. Dive deep into the topics the other shows miss. Raw and uncensored.
And he's going to play team ball. His legacy is at stake.
Rare, hard-hitting interviews with players, coaches, and you, the super fans.
I'm not hating. I'm like, okay, cool. Good.
3 championships in 5 years. He's more than good, bro.
Profanity Nation. Listen live or subscribe on your favorite podcast platform. Powered by Jesse Brown of Keller Williams.
And we're back here, guys, on Monday Night Fredo. Of course, I was just looking at an interesting thing. So I logged into Instagram real quick during the commercial break, and the first thing that pops up on my screen is Anthony Davis in a boxing ring. That's a good sign because he got to get a lot tougher down low, and he's out there actually working out, getting tougher. And, I mean, some players and athletes do say that boxing does help you out while you train. So is it a good thing for Anthony Davis to get in the boxing ring during the offseason and get stronger and better? I think so. I certainly think so. So good thing for Anthony Davis to go ahead and get out there. But another thing that I saw, interesting kind of out there, for anyone out there, if you're not on Threads yet, try to get on it now because apparently this app, it just broke a record. Apparently in the last 5 days, it has gotten over 100 million users, and it broke a record. I mean, for some reason, Threads is the biggest app right now in the world. So if you're not on Threads, you gotta get on it. I got on it. I created my downloaded the app, created the profile, whatever it was. I'm not really much into it yet, but there's one interesting thing that I want to let you guys know about Threads that I learned today is that I do and don't like it because this is something that Twitter gave you the option to do. Twitter allowed you to tweet, post something, and then gave you the chance to delete it. On Threads, the moment you post something, it will be cemented forever. So that's very interesting. So whatever you post on Threads, don't think that you can just go and delete it afterwards. You can't. It stays there for good, ever. But one thing that's going to stay good and forever is Vladimir Guerrero Jr. Yes, congratulations, Vladimir Guerrero Jr. from the Toronto Blue Jays in winning the home run derby just a few minutes ago up in Seattle. Of course, anyone that caught the action saw the excitement that Julio Rodriguez brought to the home run derby earlier today, hitting 41 home runs in the first round of the derby. He broke a record today, hitting the most, 41 in the first round. Julio Rodriguez eliminated Pete Alonso, which Pete Alonso was last year's Derby champion. So Julio Rodriguez seemed to get that home excitement. Of course, he does play for the Seattle Mariners. Of course, the All-Star game in Derby is in Seattle. So I guess he put up a show for his home crowd. And, as well, Mookie Betts. Mookie Betts has been on fire over the last week before the season went to a halt due to the All-Star break. But Mookie Betts had hit about 5 home runs in his last, 10 at-bats. I don't know if he was just warming up for the home run derby because he was part of the home run derby earlier today, Mookie Betts. And right now, Mookie is at a stage that he is arguably the best player above Shohei Ohtani. The reason why I say that, Shohei is he's going to show you that he can hit and he can pitch. But can he do the other things around? Not just hit and pitch. Because when you play baseball, you got to be a leader. You got to be quick on the bases. You got to be a good fielder. You got to be a good defender. You got to have a good arm. And you just got to have a brain. I mean, baseball is one of the hardest games to play because you got to be even though it seems the easiest, but it is one of the hardest games to learn. You just got to be on top of your game because it's all about timing. It's all about pacing, So with the way Mookie is treating the season right now, he is in the middle of a 10-year contract with the Los Angeles Dodgers. So Mookie is scheduled to be here until past 2030. But he is arguably the hottest player right now. And he did not do so well in the home run derby, as he even said it. He was like, look, the derby is not my kind of thing. He did note out one thing. He did say, I'm not going to be like Michael Jordan and not do he's like, I'm not going to be like LeBron James and not do the slam dunk contest. It's just like him. He's like, I'm not going to be Mookie and not do the home run derby. Even though he knows he's not good at it, he still did it. It's for the excitement of the game. It's I'm pretty sure there's a lot of young fans of Mookie Betts so excited just to see him in the derby. Because when you watch the derby, it's an exciting thing. I mean, you're watching home runs after home runs after home runs. It's like the slam dunk contest. You get dunks after dunks after dunks. And that's the type of excitement that was brought on today. But tomorrow is the biggest game of them all. I just recall about a year ago, I was at Dodger Stadium for the All-Star game. The All-Star game last year was at Dodger Stadium, and I got the opportunity to be there for my first All-Star game of my life, and it was one of the best games I've ever been to because you saw stars in both sides of the field, on the pitching side, on the batting side, on the defensive side of the ball. You got a chance to see a Shohei Ohtani going against Mookie, going against Giancarlo Stanton. Then you get a chance to see Clayton Kershaw against Aaron Judge. There's just so much talent in Major League Baseball. So if you are not much into baseball, if you're like, baseball's okay, I'll watch it in October. That's what a lot of people say. I'll watch it in October when it's actually exciting, which it is the most exciting part of the season, but it's always interesting just to see a random game, maybe on the Wednesday night, on the Tuesday night, just tune into any ball game. There's times that I do that, and I just go and maybe watch the Pittsburgh Pirates against the Florida Marlins. It's just a random game that you just want to see and just watch baseball because there's always something interesting going on. So with that being said, I am going to get up for this little moment right here before I take you guys away. There is a lot's going on in Major League Baseball. There is a lot going on in NBA. There's a lot going on in the NHL world, and there's a lot going on in the WNBA and the NFL. But there is nothing right now, nothing better than the actual play of the Drew League. Like when you look at the Drew League, I got a chance to spend my time every weekend. I'm there watching this talented teams, talented players that deserve a shot in the league, because there is a lot of these players that play overseas. They play overseas. They come out here during the summer. They make the living. They come back home. A lot of them live in the area. But if you have not gotten out to a Drew League game, go out there. I got the word yesterday, and I will tweet this sometime during the week. There is a few players coming next week into the Drew League that play in the NBA. One of them are from Compton. So just with that being said, you kind of have an idea who will be at the Drew League next weekend. And make sure you show them some love. Go ahead and follow them at their Drew League as well. Go to drewleague.com and find out. If you want to sit courtside, you can go buy tickets on drewleague.com. But hey, you'll see me there on the sidelines, walking around, munching on the hot dog, getting a nice lemonade, and watching some great basketball. See you guys next week. And of course, catch me tomorrow night on the breaks. Not tomorrow night, tomorrow afternoon. See ya.